We have seen so many proponents of the science decide that schools should remain closed despite the science. Very often this is being done at the behest of teachers' unions, as in Chicago. Actually, all over the country, there are teachers' unions who are attempting to leverage school boards into not reopening schools. This, of course, is having a tremendously negative impact on both kids and parents. Brandon Michon is a dad in Virginia. He went viral after striking a chord with parents all across the country. He spoke before the Loudoun County School Board and pled with them to develop a plan that would allow his schools to reopen. He's married to his high school sweetheart. He's the proud father of 3 kids, 2, 5, and 8. Here is just a little bit of Brandon talking before the Loudoun County School Board the other day.
You're a bunch of cowards hiding behind our children as an excuse for keeping schools closed. You think you're some sort of martyrs because of the decisions you're making when the statistics do not lie that the vast majority of the population is not at risk from this virus. The garbage workers who pick up my freaking trash risk their lives every day more than anyone in this school system.
Hey, Brandon was right then. He joins us on the show right now. Brandon, thanks so much for joining the Ben Shapiro Show.
Thanks for having me.
So what drove you to speak out before the Loudoun County School Board? I know that parents across the country are frustrated. What specifically drove you to get so frustrated that you actually went out there and tried to talk some sense into these folks?
Yeah, look, we've been going for months, actually, and just without any acknowledgement from the board. And the biggest thing, and I think you just alluded to it, there's no plan, and there has been no plan and no execution. And after going for months and months, and we talk about a lot of things here, but there were families and children and a father with a handicapped son before me who everything they were saying was going on deaf ears. My 5 and 8-year-old spoke before me. There was no acknowledgement from the school board, no thank you, no even acknowledgement of these kids. And it's scary standing in front of these people. It's scary for adults. And it kind of got my temperature going. And as I was speaking, I got heated because I wanted people to hear. I wanted them to acknowledge us. And again, I just want them to know that get a plan, make something, or get out of the way so others can.
And what do you think is the confluence of interest that's leading to all this? Because as you alluded to in your speech, the science on this is pretty well established, that the chief vectors for transmission of this virus are not young kids, particularly kids under the age of 10, that if you are an older kid, if you're in middle school or something, that it's easier for you to transmit the virus. But the statistics on school teachers that are coming out show that school teachers are at no greater risk than other members of the general public when they are in school and teaching. And that's particularly true if you take very, very basic precautions. Like my kids are in school right now. They've got plexiglass shields up on their desk. They're wearing masks. They are 7 and 4. And everything is fine. They've not had an outbreak at the school. There's a case to be made that even that sort of precautions are actually overkill based on the science. So what exactly has the school board even responded by explaining what exactly is unsafe in the first place?
No, they haven't. And look, I think the CDC, which is supposed to be the experts of disease control, have put out numerous bullet points saying that there's ways to mitigate this and ways to make it safe for kids to go back. Look, I don't want to blame teachers in any way because they've been put in a hard situation as well. No kindergarten teacher signed up to be an online professor, but there are a lot that want to go back. And for those who don't, that's okay as well. But what I think is, it's kind of funny. As you said, your kids are in school and they're wearing masks. My 8-year-old said, I will wear my mask. I will socially distance. I just want to go to school. And so the science is saying, the CDC is saying there are ways to get in there. There are ways to do it, but nobody's stepping up and putting forth a plan to implement what the foremost experts are saying.
So parents are obviously not an organized group. Teachers unions generally are extremely highly organized and extremely well regimented. You see this in Chicago where teachers are literally work in violation of their contract. They actually have a contract to go back to school. They voted to strike despite the fact that they are legally obligated to go back to school. Have you heard a lot of support from parents? Do you think parents are beginning to coalesce around this, or is it still sort of a group of people who are having a tough time getting it together?
Look, it's a tough situation, right? I've had an opportunity to have a voice, but there are so many out there who don't. But what I said, and I've pled on any media outlet that I can go on, is this is the great part about our democratic society is we can go and speak, go online, find your local school board meeting, go write an email, phone in, go in person, do whatever you can, because look, we need to make our schools better, one in general, just for the education for our children, but get them back in school and use your voice because it is scary. It is scary to stand up in front of people. It is scary to challenge an establishment. But I don't think this is a political party issue. This is just about our children. And I just want my children back in school, just like so many other parents have. And I'm not the only one who's going on to these things every week.
So, speaking of that, What do you think the breakdown is in terms of the parents that you're talking to and in your community, as far as how many want their kids back in school, like right now, versus how many are kind of okay with the continuation of Zoom schooling and via internet schooling?
I don't want to throw out any numbers because like I don't have the statistics, but all I know is I've been getting a large outcry from people saying thank you, thank you, thank you for speaking up. I had a similar situation. There's also people saying that, they don't want to. And again, I said it's okay. If you want to have your kids be online, that's great. But give people the option to send their kids back to school if they want to, because I believe there are teachers who want to, and I believe there's students who want to, and I believe there's parents who want to.
And by the way, it is worth noting here that over 6,000 Loudoun County teachers have already received their first dose of COVID vaccine. So it's not as though the teachers are not being treated, and it's not as though protections can't be made here. Well, that is Brandon Michon. He is the dad from Virginia who went viral this week. Thanks so much for your time, Brandon. Really appreciate what you're doing out there.
Thanks for having me.